Did you know that the youngest professional gamer was 11 years old? Victor de Leon III, most widely known as Little Poison, was 11 years old when he signed an exclusive deal with Major League Gaming. You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, and welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode number 65. My name's Gareth Briney. I'm going to be your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How you doing, James?
Hello. Not too bad, thank you.
Thought I lost you there for a moment. Yeah, I thought you were gone.
Yeah, it's always debatable.
Thought you wandered off. Yeah. And on my virtual right, a newcomer to this podcast, Mr. Paul Renshaw. Have I said your name right, Paul?
You have said my name right,
wow,
Gareth.
That's
Lovely
unusual.
to be here.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Welcome, Paul.
I'm fantastic. I'm very excited about popping my... I'm not sure I'll go any further down that road, but yes, breaking my virtual silence.
Yes, your virtual silence. Yes.
Yes, I have never done a podcast before, so this will be a new experience, so be gentle with me.
Good. This might not be the best one to start your podcast experience.
We might find out why.
Well, yeah, there is that.
What we normally do with a newcomer is we ask them some questions just to get to know them, see how they are, see what they do, see what they're about. So I've got some questions, really easy stuff, Paul, nothing to worry about.
I hope so, yeah. So it's not like the airspeed of the African swallow or anything like that.
No, that's for James later. That's his quiz.
Okay,
practice.
Cool.
The first question is, we have people from Canada in your seat, from Newark recently in the United States. Where are you from, Paul?
I am from a little town called Oldham in Greater Manchester originally.
Oh.
Hence my fetching northern accent.
We've got two northerners today and a southerner.
Yep.
Always
so I'm sure we can gang up.
Yeah. And how long have you been working for the Xbox Hub?
I have been working for the Xbox Hub for a number of years. Yeah. I didn't know this was going to be a question. I think 20
years?
Yeah, 20 years.
Yes, yeah.
I think I started in 2017, possibly.
Okay.
I'm sure Neil is now shouting at the podcast, going, "No, it's been longer than that." But anyway, I can't honestly remember. Is the short answer,
fine,
but hopefully I'll get parole one day.
And Paul, now if you had to choose, what's your favourite game?
Oh, no. Can I choose two?
Go on.
It would have to be either Forza Motorsport 4, because I used to just love doing the paint jobs in that, or it would have to be the original Gears of War, just because that was such an eye-opener when I played it, I think.
And see, Paul, for the Xbox Hub, he reviews a lot of... What are the words for those games you review? The RPGs.
Shovelware. Shall we call them retro-styled JRPGs? Yeah. I think seems to be the phrase of it, yeah. It does appear that when these games turn up, they do end up in my inbox. So,
do you like those games, or you just ended up doing them?
I do, to be honest. Yeah, some of them are very good.
Okay.
I like an RPG. In fact, thinking about it now, I'd go back and change my answer and say that my favourite all-time game was Final Fantasy VII. But yeah, I mean, it's good. I like a game with a story in it that you can get lost in.
Okay. That's good. And what's your favourite film or TV series?
Ooh, favourite film or TV? Well, I didn't know you were going to be bringing out the big guns, the tough questions this time. I would say the film that I never get tired of watching is Aliens.
Ah, yeah.
The second
yeah.
one. Yes, because that's just great.
I remember being so excited, and I must have been in my 20s when they released the Aliens Director's Cut.
Oh, yes.
And it added
With the
another
extra
40.
minutes in.
Yeah. And another 40 minutes on.
Did you have it on VHS as well?
Yeah. And I remember we set up
No,
some
no.
speakers, hi-fi speakers, to the TV, and it was so exciting to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed the whole VHS era.
I know. But it's better now, Paul. It's better.
It is better. It is
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
There's not the atmosphere. You don't have to spend 5 minutes playing with the tracking to stop it.
Or rewinding it for 20 hours.
All the kids now are looking at the podcast going, "What are you talking about?"
James is going. James is gone.
Okay.
James, have you got a question for Paul? Anything you want to ask? I feel I've left you out here.
Not particularly.
No, that's all right. Paul, I'm going to ask you one last thing. If you were on a desert island, right?
Yes.
What would you take? What item would you take? I've nicked this. One item, one luxury item.
One luxury item.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say my fishing gear, just because, I can enjoy myself and feed myself at the same time.
That's a brilliant answer, Paul. That's really good. I like that one. That's very good. So, a keen fisherman. And you do fishing games as well. You're the one person.
I do fishing games when they turn up, yeah.
Paul, do you do all the games that none of us else want to do?
To be fair, that seems to be the way it ends up. It's either the games that nobody else wants or the game that Neil starts and then realises he hasn't got time for and then passes across.
Great. Good. Brilliant. What have you been doing this week, gentlemen? James, what have you been up to?
I've been mentally preparing for a concert.
Right.
Because this weekend is the infamous Blackpink online concert that I've been dying to see for ages.
And this is the one that's been cancelled, is it?
Yeah, because of the corona. It starts at 5 in the morning.
Goodness.
So that's going to be a little bit testing.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to get up at 3 a.m. to start drinking, is that right?
I mean, drinking is optional. It's on the table. I'm pondering it.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been preparing for the big morning. Got my snacks sorted. Got my light stick.
Wow.
I'm ready. I've learned all the words.
How long's it on for, James?
I have no idea. It's on YouTube.
Right.
I think it's about 20 songs. I think they're doing every song that they've got, and then some more.
Right.
Yeah,
So
songs.
For those of us that are not familiar with Blackpink's back catalogue, let's say, what's the song to look out for? What should we be listening out for?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask, because I like the songs that no one else does.
Oh, right, okay.
They've got one called Stay. That's very lovely.
Wasn't that Shakespeare's Princeton?
Yeah, it's slightly different to that one.
Okay.
And probably the best one at the moment is Lovesick Girls. So, I mean...
Lovesick Girls.
Yeah. Okay. You can kind of tell what kind of song it is. But yeah, check it out, guys.
Just to remind everyone, you are in the right place. You're on a gaming podcast. We're not on Lovesick Girls podcast. That's the other one. That's next door.
Is it the Blackpink fan podcast?
Yeah. They're next. They're coming in next.
That'll be quite a short one, I thought.
I'll wait for that one.
Well, good, James. I'm looking forward to that as myself. 5 o'clock in the morning, you nutter.
You must be mad.
I am. Absolutely crazy.
Paul, what have you been doing this week?
Well, I really wanted to tell you that after listening to James last week, I was inspired and started experimenting with chocolate-covered fruit. But I haven't had the time, unfortunately. Yeah. Apparently, because I am an IT professional, my services are much in demand, so I haven't been able to not go to work. So I have spent the majority of the week fixing people's PCs and saying, mending it when they say, "Why can't I dial in from home?" Because they all talk like that when they've got a complaint. And then the rest of the time, I've been making Neil's life miserable by writing an article every day just to keep him out of mischief, as it were. So,
well done, Paul. Well
yes, I'll tell you what, I'm on fire at the moment.
done. Oh, that's good.
And actually, I was going to say, sorry,
Yeah, no,
just
go
at
on.
this point, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish Neil a happy 50th birthday. Because it's his birthday as we
It's
record
his birthday. Is he 50?
He isn't 50. I just
Let's
thought
say
I'd
he's
say
50.
Like him
Yeah.
up.
Neil,
Younger.
Absolutely. I was being kind.
Good. Well, you've been working. I've been watching really quite serious documentaries on Netflix. One about a serial killer called Night Stalker in the 80s in LA, and a documentary about crack, cocaine. So that's my
Excellent.
light viewing
That's
for the week.
not research, is it?
No, it's just my
We're not going
personal.
to be having like Breaking Bad, the podcast soon, no?
Well, I'm worried that the authorities will be watching my viewing. They'll be knocking at the door any second. Both really good, though. Both very good documentaries.
Excellent.
Let's get on to games. Let's go straight into games
Yeah,
because there's
let's-
some big
let's do
ones, isn't it? Let's start with you, Paul, because you reviewed a big one last week, didn't you? Did it come out last week?
Yes, Hitman 3. Yeah, that came out. The conclusion of the story arc started many years ago in Hitman. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Particular mention has to go to one of the levels where you can do a full-on kind of Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie thing. And if you take a particular costume, you're invited into this house to solve a murder. And it's really quite interesting the way that you can go around and question people, find clues. And it was a big departure. So at the end of it, when you finally bump off your victim, it was a bit of an anticlimax, really. I actually enjoyed the level more than I enjoyed the killing, as it were. That does make me sound like some kind of psycho, but
Well, no, I think this is what people have. It's done really well. So, what did you give it, Paul? You gave it.
I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah,
because
got
the
some-
AI is still not quite right still.
Yeah, I think everyone's given it really that's been a kind of universal mark for people on all the other sites. So you've got what level? You've got six levels in this new version.
There's 6 main levels.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got the ability, if you've bought either of the previous games, you can also play those games again in the new engine. So it sort of brings all 3 games together in one place, which obviously expands it a lot. And then you've got your contracts and you've got all the challenges for all the levels. So when you say there's only 6 levels, it doesn't sound like a big game, but there's so many different ways to do those levels that, it's completely, every run through is completely different.
And you've got Dubai.
There's Dubai, there's Devon, obviously.
Right.
I mean, that those two go together quite well.
I do.
There's one in China. There's one on a train in Romania, I think it is. And there is one other one that I can't for the life of me remember where it is.
And is there a nightclub scene? Which one's that? I saw that one.
That's Germany. Yes,
Germany.
that's the one I couldn't remember. Yeah, it's all set in as like an underground German dance club. It's you can almost taste the sweat.
And with Hitman, you can probably kill your, if you want to go and kill your target in a couple of minutes, can you? Which isn't the
absolutely.
point. Yeah. But the point is
You
to
can
kind of
run
replay in the level and
Yeah, this is the thing that I made the point in the review about the AI. I did that on one of the levels, ran straight up to my target, shot him in the head, and then ran away and crouched in a flower bed, and the guards couldn't find me. It was just like, well, where's he gone? I can't see him. I could have reached out and poked these guards, but that to me was a bit of a low point. But other than that, it was fantastic.
And this is the first game you've played on your new Xbox Series X, because you just got yours a bit later, didn't you?
I did get mine a bit later. It was just before Christmas I got it. So it's the first sort of proper Series X review that I've done. And I've got to say, I was very impressed. The graphics are fantastic.
Oh, great. I mean, it always looks great, those games, but does it really look impressive now?
Oh, it does. I mean, there's one bit in the level in China, it's raining. And if you walk 47 out into the rain, you can actually see the rain running down his baldy head, and then it looks like his clothes are getting wet. It's the detail is amazing.
James, have you played Hitman games before?
I played the first Hitman of the new era, and it's fascinating how many ways you can approach each level. I quite enjoy sussing out the situation and just taking it all in. That's really the best part of Hitman. It's just seeing what's going on. There's always something happening. But if I may ask Paul, what's the most creative kill that you've done in the Hitman series?
The most creative, I mean, it might be a bit of a minor spoiler here, so be aware of that, dear listener. But when you do the detective level, there's a few ways that you can have it play out. You get all the evidence together, and then you can decide who you want to say did the murder, if you like. And if you tell your target that it wasn't actually a murder, it was a suicide, she goes outside and kills herself. Jumps off the balcony. So it's brilliant. You don't even have to kill her.
I mean, that's a different tactic.
Absolutely, it's great. So you just walk out of there. My hands are completely clean. I never touched a honest officer.
I like it.
I do always get to a point in Hitman. This is my problem with the game. I always get to a point when I go, I've had enough now. I never see it all the way through. Maybe the second one I had to because I was reviewing it.
Yeah.
But I do get to a point.
One level every so often is really enjoyable.
Yeah.
You couldn't do them all in one sitting or over a few days. It's too samey, even though it's different environments.
Because they released it for a while, like a season, didn't they? Released a chapter every month, didn't they? That was their, and they stopped that.
That was only the first one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The first one in this trilogy, they released one episode at a time. They ditched that model for the second, and obviously now for the third one. So I think it's better like this. I mean, having the break when you'd finished the level, it was okay, but then you just got bored waiting and you moved on to other games. Yeah. Whereas I found with this one, the story was strong enough to keep me playing. I think I finished it in two days.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Hitman 3, there you go. Thank you, Paul.
No
problem. Look out for that. I might do it. It's the first big game, isn't it, of the year?
It's the first one I've played, certainly. Yes.
And now on to the next big game. Look at that link. Seamless professional. Now, this game is The Medium, which comes out today on the 28th on Game Pass and other things. Our reviewer, William, who's been on the podcast from Canada, from Toronto, he reviewed the game. He had it early, and he's reviewed it, and our review came out on the Wednesday. And it's a great review, really detailed. He's given it a 4.5 out of 5. Generally, it's been really interesting because the reviews across the board have been so mixed. I haven't seen a game like this for ages. When you've got people giving it, like, we go 4.5, PC Gamer, I think maybe 92%, IGN 8 out of 10, same kind of thing. And then you've got, on the other scale, people giving it 2s out of 5s, sort of 40%, so there's some 50s in there. It's a real, it's really divided people. And because I work hard for this podcast, at 4 o'clock, 2 hours before we started, it was available to play on the Game Pass. So I did a little Let's Play and I played it for an hour and 20 before we began. And I love it. I think it's great. It's really old-fashioned in a sense. It's like an old Resident Evil game. Not in the style of you've got zombies, but the way it's third person, the way you're kind of just walking around exploring. And almost a bit like a Silent Hill, it kind of reminds me, which has the same composer. But it's like that in the fact that you're just... It's a lot of exploration. You're not kind of generally... I don't think there's much combat in it at all. I think the combat is you're running away from a kind of big bad, but you're just generally exploring. And the idea is that you're a medium, hence the title, and it's set in Poland. And you're basically on this journey that your adopted father, who run a funeral home, sets you on this path, and you're exploring this kind of disused hotel as the first place you go to. And what you can do as a medium is you have an insight. You can kind of see dead people. And if you press an LB button, you can kind of see ghostly footprints. And you follow those. And you have the main feature is if you're in an area that has ghostly things going on, the world splits into two. So it's like split screen. And on one side is the real world, and one side is you in the spirit world. And you're both. This is where I am, because I've only done an hour and 20, and you're operating both yourselves at the same time. But of course, in the spirit world, you can do certain things you can't do in the real world. Like, for example, you can't. There's an electricity thing in the real world that needs charging. You can get some ghostly spirit stuff that charges it in the spirit world, and visually, you can see why it works on this system, because it's seamless, the kind of link between the two worlds, and it's great. But also, it's just all the other little details. The lighting's amazing. They're kind of like the locations are really beautifully designed by that team, and the sound is by the Silent Hill composer, and it's really, really, really good. It's just you're playing a film. So if you want to play a film and you don't want to have combat really or that much gameplay, probably, except for exploration, it's a game for you. If you're looking for a bit more, maybe I can see why other reviewers have gone, this is old hat. It's something I've played before. This isn't the new generation of gaming, which has been the criticism.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it.
How scary is it?
For you,
On a scale of you for
I don't think
Silent
you
Hill.
can't play it.
Oh, okay.
No, because it's scary more than horror. I don't think
jumpy.
Jumpy.
So it's not blood and gore. It's more sort of suggested.
Yeah, I
horror,
mean, I remember I only played a little bit of it so far. So
That's the worst kind.
it's the bits I've played at the moment it's scares, a little bits of scares, and things in the shadows and stuff like that.
Ooh.
So yeah, but it's
is it a proper headphones on in the dark?
Yeah, definitely headphones
Absolutely.
on.
Right.
But it's really interesting doing a let's play because you're just doing it, and I just didn't talk for the whole way through. Some people would say it's a blessing. And,
absolutely, the highest rated one.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you do it, and you do it because it's just watching a film. You're watching a film, but the locations are really nice. But it's really linear. You're not any open. You're gonna just push through a kind of journey, and you'll get to a place, and you're just trying to work out how to unlock a door or go through a different place and get objects, and mixture of like point and click and exploration, adventure, horror. But it's great. Yeah, I mean, I think William said it's 8 hours long. I think that's it. So for Game Pass people, so you got to do it. If you got a Game Pass, give it a go. I think it's great, and it does show off that kind of new, the graphics. It does show off the graphics. It definitely shows off location design and kind of lighting.
What ray tracing?
Ray tracing. He's there. He's making an appearance. Drunk in the corner, but he's doing it. He's doing his job. Ray. Yeah.
For a second, then I thought he said, "What about Rage Racer?" I was like, "But that was on the PlayStation 1. What are we talking about that for?"
So there you go, the medium.
Well, it's 21% downloaded on my Xbox as we speak.
4 o'clock it was today. 4 o'clock. James, what have you been playing? Oh, you haven't been playing anything, have you?
Well, I was hoping to play Project Winter this week.
Oh, yeah.
But it got delayed last minute.
Right.
So my only other real venture into the gaming world was Dead by Daylight. Because it's part of a Twitch stream. And basically, I got absolutely murdered within about 5 minutes of joining the game by Freddy Krueger.
Right.
And it was the scariest 5 minutes of my life. As the host of the Twitch was singing the infamous Freddy Krueger song, 1, 2, that one.
Oh, yeah.
It was nightmarish. It's great, but nightmarish. But yeah, that's literally all I've done in gaming this week.
Have you done some review
so
games?
depressing. No, because the review game I was doing this week, I think I hit a major bug. So I didn't really get very far.
Right.
So hopefully we can talk about it next week.
Yeah.
And Project Winter.
Well, so when's Project Winter? That's been delayed. I didn't see this.
Till the 4th.
Okay. Right.
February. It got delayed right in the last minute.
That doesn't sound good.
Not sure why. No. It's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
So when it does arrive, we can have a go.
We'll have a go. We'll give that a go, I think. We'll talk about that, all of us.
Look forward to that.
Paul, what else have you been doing? You got another one there, haven't you?
Well, I've been playing a game called Disjunction for review. I've published that. Well, Neil published that for me, shall we say, a little while ago. That's kind of a retro pixel art styled game based around a cyberpunk kind of universe. It's quite entertaining. The story's pretty good. There's 3 characters you have to take control of, all with various powers, and you can it's like a Hitman style thing. You can go through the level and absolutely murder everybody you meet, or you can be a little bit sneaky and get through without causing all this mayhem. So, but yeah, top down, retro styled, good story, kept me playing. Gave it 4 out of 5. So,
okay, good.
Yeah.
Sorry, James, go on.
I'm gonna say it makes me shiver hearing the words top down and retro. I mean, I couldn't think of anything worse. It's absolutely no idea,
I don't know.
guys.
Yeah, I do know.
It's a good game. It's top down and retro styled. I mean, maybe it's because I'm used to all these Kemco games. Who knows? Because they're all top down retro styled. It didn't faze me in the slightest.
No.
So they're quite good, though, to be fair.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Disjunction was good as well. So
yeah.
The last game, just a quick mention, is I've been playing. I don't think I have to review yet. Maybe it's on the 30th, but I can talk about it. It's called Nuberon: The Adventure of an Unlucky Gnome. The best title ever.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, and it's a platform puzzler, like 2D platform puzzler, and you play a gnome who's who's lost his unlucky hat, and he goes searching for it. That's it, really. And it's beautifully designed. It's like handcrafted design, but it's by a Buenos Aires developer, I think, and it's really nicely done. And what you've got on top of your head is you've got a cloud for some reason that I've forgotten instead of the hat. A cloud that follows you, and what you can do with the cloud, if the cloud is happy, you can zap enemies by pressing one of the triggers, and it will do a bolt of light from the cloud, like creatures or something like that. But suddenly the crowd can get angry, and it will zap you. So you have to keep moving or get away from water. So it has this kind of brilliant little gameplay device in this cloud. But do you know what? It's a really great little platformer, and it looks great. And it's only, I think it's £7 or £8. It's $9, I think, I saw today. But yeah, It's really cheap, and it's got a boss fight. If you want a little platform bit of fun, you want something a bit more retro again, and for the kids, can't go wrong. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I can't even say the name.
I have to ask though, how do you make a cloud happy?
I think it generally is happy.
It's angry.
Yeah, I think it just turns angry or happy. Something else annoys it. It wasn't that deep. It's about a gnome who's lost his hat. That's about it.
See, I was looking for the cloud's sort of motivation there. So
you've been playing too many RPGs. There's no reason, guy. I don't know why why it's angry. Maybe it was there. Maybe it was telling me. There's no cutscenes.
Maybe.
Good. Right. Now, last week, we're going to go into news now. I made the brilliant prediction, because on this podcast over the years, I've made some shocking predictions. Like Cyberpunk would never be delayed after its April last year on this podcast, and some terrible statements like that. But generally, lately, I've been getting better, haven't I, James?
I don't know yet. What is it this time?
This time last week, I said we should be hearing about Resi Evil 8 soon, Village, and I reckon that's probably going to come out in the spring. I
didn't know you knew that now.
I didn't know that last week. We were doing a podcast.
I think everyone else did.
Oh, blind. Oh, dear. Well, after we finished the podcast last week, the Resident Evil 8, The Village, was shown in all its glory. So what we did, we had a trailer, and we had a release date. I think it's May the 8th. Maybe I've got that right. Is it May the 8th?
May the 7th.
It's May the something.
And the multiplayer as well aspect was revealed, and a demo was put on the PS5 to play, which I played, and I did a little let's play, and it's on our YouTube site. And
is it?
Yeah.
A PlayStation 5 demo?
Don't say that.
On the Xbox Club.
I had to persuade Neil to do this. He wasn't happy about it, but I said, let's do it. And I don't think I ever mentioned PlayStation in the description. Just said, it's a demo. It's a demo I've got out of nowhere.
Capcom have just sent it to me.
Oh, yeah, strange that. What's your thoughts, you two? You excited about this? I can't remember who's a Resident Evil fan, if any of you are.
Yes, I'm a big Resi fan. So much so that the first game I actually played in Japanese on my PlayStation 1.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a challenge, let me tell you, in the days when there was no internet to look up guides and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, that was in the days you used to be able to put a disc in the PlayStation and then rip it out and put in the Japanese disc and it would play it. I don't know if you remember ever doing that, but yeah, it was good. But yeah, I'm quite excited by The Village. It looks quite good. Lady Dimitrescu, is she called?
Yeah, she's great.
10-foot tall vampire woman.
Yeah,
she looks entertaining, and her sidekicks also look quite scary. I mean, watching the trailer and they did a gameplay reveal in the Resident Evil event, and it was just watching it. It looks fantastic, and it looks properly scary.
Yeah,
the first-person view really seems to work for Resi these days.
I think so. I think it does. I think the Resi 7 was great. You know, Resi 7 was great until the end bit. The boat bit I wasn't too sure about, but I loved everything else. I loved the house and all that stuff. It just got it went on a bit too long for me. I think I could have just kept it in the house, but it was still a great game. But yeah, the first-person stuff is really good. Really good. James, what about you? Will you be playing this?
I won't. I'm glad that it's carried on with that scary vibe. Rather than going back to what it used to be in Resident Evil 5 that I played, where it just wasn't. It lost all its identity. I think it's really getting back to its best now. And that looks scary as hell. That lady. The
lady's become an instant internet success, isn't she? I mean, everyone's doing cosplays of her, fan clubs being set up. She's going to be huge. Sadly, I read today one of the actresses who plays one of the other sisters voices died. One of the voice actors, 39. I saw that. Yeah, really sad. She died of I think it was cancer. I think she just so that's really sad for them. But yeah, I think she voiced a few parts in that, but definitely one of the vampire sisters. But yeah, it looks great. I mean, and also the demo. So I played it, and the demo is about half an hour. So you start off in a cell, and then you have to sort of come up from the cell, and there's half bodies hanging that have been cut off from like rafters, and the sound is amazing. The kind of like things scuttling behind you. You really are looking everywhere, and then you kind of come up through this dungeon. And then you come up into the house, the lady's house, and you sort of explore that, trying to open doors in normal Resident Evil way, trying to find the right key, and then something happens horrendous at the end, and then it stops dramatically. But it looks great. Just playing that, it looked and sounded brilliant. I think it's going to be really good on the new consoles as well as the old ones as well. But it's going to really shine on those, I think. It's really exciting. Oh, I've got one more thing to say. Can I just remember what I said about the medium? Really briefly. It's cutting us off
Yep.
into the medium. When I played the medium today, and this is because I was thinking about the PlayStation then, when it rained in the medium on my Xbox, it was raining on my controller. You know, the noise, the vibration.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which I haven't seen yet
Yeah.
with that
Excellent.
controller. But PlayStation do all the time.
Does it not make it slippery if it's raining on your
It is. Well, I did have it in a bucket of water to get the right feeling and sense.
Cool.
Sorry, James. Well, I've interrupted.
No, I was going to say, it really probably wasn't worth going back to the medium. You could have just carried on with Resident Evil.
I could have done, couldn't I?
Thanks anyway.
I could have done. It just reminded me. I just really like that thing.
Thanks for that, Gareth.
Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Stick to the script, man. What's
Giving
wrong with you?
I'm giving some good information.
Tell us about the multiplayer.
No, don't tell us about the multiplayer. I saw that and just thought, oh, no.
Who wants to talk about
One
this
game
multiplayer?
that doesn't need multiplayer is Resident Evil. Well, it doesn't need competitive multiplayer.
So
it needs cooperative.
What's it called? Is it called something?
Reverse.
And
Reverse.
And is it a death match of all the famous characters from Resident Evil?
It seems to be. From the video I watched today, you can choose who you're going to be. You can be Chris or Claire, or even it looked like you could be Nemesis at one point. Yeah. And you just run around and murk each other. And I just thought, this is not what Resident Evil is. This is not what it should be. And it made me sad.
Is it part of, you buy Resident Evil Village, you get the multiplayer as well? Or
apparently so, yeah. Right. You get this. It's separate, as I understand it, from what I was reading, this RE-verse. But if you pre-order the Village, you get it for free.
Okay.
I don't know if there's an option to say, no, thank you, I don't want that. But I'll be ticking that one if there is.
I think because of Resident Evil 3 remake that came out, I think people started to really like the multiplayer than they did the remake of Resident Evil 3. So I think, people seem to like this. It became a little bit more popular. I don't know. Did Richard review it for us? I think he did, didn't he? Resi 3 remake.
Not sure.
Maybe he did the multiplayer as well. But I think it gained a bit more. I think that's why they've done it. But yeah, I've got no interest in that. You're right.
We said last week though, the deathmatch concept is practically dead anyway.
It's
not
all
been fun for years.
Royals these days, isn't
it?
Yeah. So not only did they chose the dead concept, it put it into a game that really doesn't need it.
No. But
maybe it's
it does look good. It looks great.
Tell us about the rain, Gareth.
Let's go back to the medium. If we can go back to the gnome game, and let's talk about that, because I've just remembered. I remember one level in particular in the gnome game now. If I can take us back to last week's podcast, I want to talk about Neil's biking activities.
On Swift.
Yeah, on Swift.
His dating app.
His dating app, yeah. Bit more news coming up. Biomutant has got a release date that's confirmed for May as well. Now, it seems like it was years ago when it was first announced. Was that true, or I forgot all about it?
2017, apparently.
Wow. And
it's been a long time coming.
What is it? What the hell is it?
It's a game.
It's a game, yeah.
It looks like... again, because obviously I was doing my homework to be ready to come on here and talk. It appears to be a bit kind of martial arty journey through the future wilderness when you're a mutant or something. I got major kind of Kung Fu Panda vibes off the main character who looks just like Master Shifu. And, the action in it looked really good. But I haven't seen enough. I want to see some actual gameplay before I say I'm excited about it. But from the trailer, it looks very good.
James, what about you? Excited by that?
I was intrigued by the idea you can recode the genetics of the main character. So you can modify them with weird mutations. It'll give you new abilities and attributes. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, I've never known a game where you can alter genetics of a character.
Right.
And does it change the look of the character if you do that as well?
I don't think it does. Which you think it would.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it really just mutates the character with different powers.
Different abilities.
Like telekinesis.
Okay,
and
right.
levitation.
Okay, right. And that's out, when's that out? At the end of May, is it? Something like that?
That's May again, yeah.
May 25th.
Okay. And is it? I think it's only announced on PS4 and Xbox One at the moment, isn't it? It's not new next gen. Well, of course we can still play it.
Yeah, not officially. It's not Series X optimized, as they say.
No, but I think it probably will be. I can imagine it will be.
I hope so, yeah.
I doubt it. We'll see who's right.
Generally me. Generally me.
One of your predictions.
I'm on a winning streak now. I'll tell you that. Right, good. That's another game coming out. So more games. This is good. The thing that Microsoft had another strange kind of PR week. He does that. Who's on their press team? He's making decisions and like this. So Microsoft basically came out and said for the Xbox Live Gold, which we pay for, there's going to be a price increase. And the internet went mad. And then they reversed it. They reversed there after the outcry and said, sorry, we made a... What was their words? It was a good wording, wasn't it?
We did something wrong, or
yeah,
I can't remember exactly
we
what
were
they said.
completely out of order or something. It was something like that.
Yes,
like
we did it. We got it wrong.
We got it wrong. And they're reversing their whole hike in prices. Which is good. I mean, it's good that they...
Which is good, yeah. I've got to wonder, though, how many people in the world now have still got just Xbox Live Gold and don't have, like, Game Pass thrown in with it. Because obviously they brought those two things together, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, I think that was the idea. I think it was to force people.
Yeah, maybe it was more of a... give them a kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't say it's really expensive, so why don't you try Game Pass?
Yeah, because you get all these free games and Xbox Live Gold. I mean, I don't think I'd go back now from Game Pass just because, as a service, it's incredible. I mean, the games you can play, especially brand new ones, like, I don't know, let's go back to the Medium for a minute.
Yeah,
you can play
you
that.
Go back to the control a bit, about the range. Talk about people about that. Sea of Thieves?
But yeah, I mean,
sorry, go.
Gold is... Sorry, I was just going to say, I don't know anybody in my circle of Xbox friends that just has Xbox Live Gold anymore. Everybody's got Game Pass as far as I know. So it just made you wonder how many people were causing this uproar and whether it was just a vocal minority, if you like. I mean, I know there's not many of those in the gaming world, but...
I think it was more PlayStation stuff going on as well, which was they were riling people up. The PlayStation were riling people up and saying, "Why the hell are you doing this? Paying for this rubbish?" And then that made people even more worse.
Stoking the fire.
Yeah. I know. It's really weird with the gold stuff because the free games that come every month, I always forget about them. I completely forget about them. I haven't downloaded them for ages because of Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because there's enough.
It's forgettable games.
Yeah.
It's not very good.
And also, the games that you have on there generally are on Game Pass, so it's
quite a lot of the time. Yeah.
I mean, have you announced the new games of Gold yet, Gareth?
Oh, we're going to do that now. That was what I was going to do.
I think that is a beautiful link, James. Well done.
I was trying to get a bit smooth, but Gareth kind of just dropped the ball on it now.
Well, what I was going to say is most games already on that are on Game Pass, and then you come in. Yeah, unbelievable. Gears 5, James, isn't it? That's the one they've got this time. That's their first Xbox Series X as well game.
Yeah, I mean, why?
Why? Because it's an awesome game. I will not hear anything against Gears.
It's a very good game. That one.
If you've not played it now,
then with it being on Game Pass since launch, you're probably not that bothered.
But there are certain people that haven't got Game Pass, and you now can get that game for free, and that's a good thing. So
Well,
it does.
I don't know anyone that hasn't got Game Pass.
No, me
I don't know
neither.
about you, Paul.
You two.
I've done a quick survey, and in this house, 100% of people are signed up to the Game Pass.
Unbelievable, you two. So,
And
yeah.
to make matters worse, I think there's a game called, is it Dandara?
Yeah.
That's Games of Gold. And that was in Game Pass until about a month ago.
Yeah.
They took it out to put it in this. What a waste of time.
Oh, genuinely.
I suppose
really
the one good thing to say about it is that if you have a games with gold and you download it, it's then yours forever, isn't it? As long as you keep your subscription.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not going to be coming and going like it does on Game Pass.
No.
That's the only possible advantage that I
Definitely.
can see.
Yeah.
But
Apart from Gears,
other than
which will
that-
be there forever. Because
well, I hope so.
Gears
because
is,
Gears is
is
awesome.
Microsoft, isn't it? So they're the ones that stay there on Game Pass forever, I think. The Microsoft
Yeah.
ones.
Gears, Forza Horizon 4, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully will stay there forever.
And all the new stuff. I think that's the plan.
Yeah.
That keeps that.
What, like the Medium?
Medium. Should we talk about the medium?
Tell us about the rain.
Yeah, think about the rain of that. Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard. It's because I think also you've got PlayStation of their ones this month on the PSN are the new Destruction Derby game that I've forgotten the name of. What's it called?
Destruction All Stars.
Destruction All Stars. That's the new PlayStation game that looks like a mixture of Destruction Derby and Rocket League and something else.
And Fortnite.
Fortnite. So that's going to be a big game. And also they've just announced
Dreadful.
Control, the Ultimate Editions for free, which is for the PlayStation 5, and we have to get the Xbox version. I suppose we have to pay for that.
If you compare the two, PlayStation Plus is phenomenal. But they haven't got Game Pass. I think we'd have better games if we didn't have Game Pass. So I think the sooner you get rid of Games with Gold and just forget about it, the better, I think, now.
Yeah.
It's never going to win the battle.
Yeah.
And everyone gets annoyed at it. Especially me. I get really annoyed. I don't want Indiana Jones from the original Xbox.
Who's playing that? Who's
Why
playing
not?
that? Oh my
It's
god.
like
There's
the
not
first
even
time.
any achievements.
Oh my god.
Exactly. Waste of time.
Wow. Good. Now, there's a little article about this, and we looked last time. What's the time? God. We looked last time about some games coming out in 2021. I've got a little kind of thing here that had some indie games coming out in 2021, which is going to be the really exciting time. Did any of those indie games? There's a list here of games that we've got. Anything? Maybe one or two that
The cat one.
interest?
Stray.
Oh yeah, the cat
Stray.
one looked good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, I think you actually get to play as the cat, don't you? And you roam around quite a cyberpunk city.
Yeah, you make friends with a little drone or something, according to the blurb of the game, don't you?
Yeah.
So I think that
The
looks
cat
quite
looks
interesting.
adorable.
Because I think the two cats I've got here have quite interesting lives, and it'd be interesting to see what it's like being a cat in a game. I think that's quite an interesting concept.
And I mean, it's on the PlayStation 5 and PC,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'd be willing to play on PC.
Oh,
It
there you go.
looks good.
What about Unpacking? There's a game called Unpacking, which is coming out on PC, where you just basically unpack stuff in a bedroom, neatly organising things.
Stream it.
I tell you, this is why I bought a £450 Uber console to play a game where I just unpack a box into a bedroom. I mean, I can't think of anything better to do with it.
Do you know what? Today, right, I had to stream a game that's been reviewed that's coming out tomorrow called Castles and Caves. And it's one of James's match 3 games, right? And I was streaming it and going, I don't know why I'm doing this. I've got no idea. I don't know what these games. But today, before the medium, I went, I might have another go at that match 3. It gets you. It draws you in. It's so addictive. Those little kind
I
of
dare
games.
you to download Gems of War.
Oh,
I dare
don't
you.
do it. Don't do it.
You'll never
My
leave.
son is obsessed with Gems of War.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it.
It's amazing.
The other game that I think I talked about last time is Sable, which I've seen quite a lot over the last few years. It looks wonderful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it looks amazing. That's coming to the Series X this year, and it just looks great. You just kind of travel around this kind of like animated kind of desert, it almost looks like a Tatooine sort of Star Wars vibe.
Is that the one with the like hover bike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like there's no combat, it's just exploration. It just looks really interesting. A bit like Journey as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Returnal, which is one of the PlayStation games, that's been delayed. Another delay. That was coming out in March. The 16th has been delayed to April 30th. Say that again.
What is it? I can't remember it.
It's like it reminds me a little bit of Lost Planet. Do you remember that game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's in Games of Gold.
It is actually, yeah. It's the second one, is it? Or...
It is.
Yeah. Wow. It has a similar kind of that third-person shooter. I think it's by the people who made Resogun, and it's with those kind of arcadey games, but they've made a kind of third-person action adventure about someone who keeps dying and then coming back. In the story on this planet. That's great. I mean, it does look really good. But that's a big one for them. That's been delayed. And briefly at the end, let's just talk about this this story today that Richard, one of the podcast people, brought to our attention, and now everyone's talking about, which is the game the GameStop on the stock exchange. This kind of mad thing that's happened that it's a little bit confusing to kind of try to work it out, but I'm going to have a go and you two can correct me. Yeah. So I think
I'm ready.
People in the stock exchange were betting against, because it's basically gambling, the stock exchange. They were gambling against that GameStop, the shop, was having a really bad time. Yeah. It's obviously thing. So they were putting money into that. The shares will plummet. And then normal kind of people were getting together through Reddit and other kind of forums, and they were basically trying to get interest in the stock so they would raise the stock, and that's what they've done. Is they've raised the stock by some magic of stock trading that I don't know anything about.
Some ridiculous amount. It's gone from something like the company was worth $2 billion to about $32 billion in about a week. It's absolutely crazy.
And how have they done that, Paul?
Well, basically, what they were doing is these money men on Wall Street were doing something called short selling, where you borrow some shares from somebody, sell them, and then you're betting that the price of the shares will fall, so then you can buy them back, return them to the person you bought them from, and then you keep the difference, so you make a profit.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me, yeah.
So what they've done is they've borrowed these shares, they've sold them, and then all these people at the grassroots have gone, I don't think this is a great idea. So they've bought all the shares, which has bumped the prices up. So now these people have had to buy the shares at the inflated price, so they've lost money. But then when they buy the shares at the inflated price, it puts the price even higher. And there was stories in the article that Richard linked us to from like students who'd put $50 in, and they're coming out with 17,000.
Wow!
So they're doing really good, and all the people on Wall Street that were betting that GameStop was going to fail have lost a load of money, so they're all sad. So really, it's win-win. GameStop gets to keep going. The big money men who are ruining the world manage to lose money, and that makes them sad. And it's just a feel-good story all round.
Nice. See, this is what you get on this podcast. You get stock market information. You get gaming and Korean pop groups, concerts.
Wait until the fallout when the money men come back to haunt us.
Oh yeah, because the bubble will burst. I imagine probably quite soon now that it's become common knowledge. So yeah, it's going to be. The crash will probably be quite a large one. I just hope GameStop are investing the money well while they've got it. And
we're doing this with the Xbox Hub tomorrow, aren't we? We're doing the same principles.
We're floating it on the stock.
Yeah, we're going to Reddit.
And I've got a $5 that could get me 50%.
Get your controlling steak, definitely.
51% for a fiver. I'm in.
There's another article I saw this week. It's about Sophia, the robot creators who create these kind of human-like robots, and they're made so people who maybe are not lonely. That's the wrong word. People who need care or attention, they can help. But they're announcing plans to mass produce these robots this year. So you'll have these kind of like very facial expression robots in your home if you want one.
This is how Skynet happens.
That's what I said. This is it, isn't it? This is it. This is the time.
We'll put it down now. Where's the day? Where's Sarah Connor when we need her?
Dum 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 dum. Yeah.
Can you imagine a robot with Gareth's face?
Oh, everyone would want one of those.
That would be a great thing, wouldn't it?
This would be it. Every household.
That would be awesome.
Looking slightly confused.
I think these people have got enough problems.
I'll be pronouncing it. I'll be pronouncing everything wrong. They go, "Robot, get me tea," and I go, "What do you mean? I don't have tea. I wouldn't remember anyone's name." Yeah.
The interesting thing I found from that article, reading about it, was that they were using it as companionship for people as well in the lockdowns and stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
The robots give like the old people or whoever it may be that's shielding, gives them somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite a nice thing. As long as they're not saying things like exterminate,
yes,
we'll be all right.
Yeah. This is our time. Humans must die. Yeah. They don't say that. Would you like a cup of tea? Humans must die. Sorry? Cup of tea. Want a cup of tea? Yeah. Good. Right. Well, next week. I mean, it's getting a strange time now, because it's not a huge amount of games out in February. I don't think, is it? We're getting up to February time. Little Nightmares 2.
There's DLC for Immortals Phoenix Rising. I don't know if anybody's talked about that game on this podcast before.
We're going to have to call it
DLC out today, actually, as we speak. So
yeah, you can have that.
There you go. That's something to look forward to.
That's something to look forward to if you've got the game. What about you, Paul? What are you looking forward to next week?
I'm looking forward to getting to grips with the medium, especially as, I've heard that there's rain in the game and it gets on your controller.
Yes, so it's good. Remember the bucket?
It's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I've got so many games that I need to review that I'm not actually looking forward to anything. I'm just going to be playing games for review, which I don't think I can talk about because of disclosure and stuff. But there will be many things that I need to play, not necessarily for fun.
Yeah, okay. All right, enough said of that. James, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
Well, it's the Royal Rumble this weekend, the biggest event in wrestling.
Is that another? I was going to say, is that another concert?
No, but it's on Sunday at midnight.
Oh my God!
At 5 in the morning.
5 in the morning till midnight. It's going to be on the Red Bull all day.
It starts at midnight. It'll finish about 4 in the morning, probably.
You're not going to watch all that.
Good grief!
I am. It's the Rumble.
It's the Rumble.
It's the Rumble.
This is the way.
Wow. Is it empty stadiums still, then? They do it to empty stadiums?
Yeah.
Oh.
You've got like screens in the crowd with people's faces on. Live screens.
Do they have fake crowd noise?
Oh, yeah, they've always had that.
Oh, right, good. Okay, right.
They've
had fake wrestling. They might as well have fake crowd noise. So.
Well, enough for the F word, Paul.
Sorry, they've had pretend wrestling.
Wow. I'm going to watch... There's a new season of Snowpiercer on Netflix, season 2, if you want to watch that. I think I might start that next week. I think they're doing 1 episode a week. I don't know when they've made this. I get suspicious about when they've made this stuff in COVID. I thought, how have they done this? Yeah, that's out at the moment. I enjoyed that. I think it's quite good. It's quite a good little series.
Mm-hmm.
It's not brilliant.
I've had it recommended to me before. I've not watched any of it, but
yeah, it's good. I like it. It's good. It's worth watching.
The film.
No, you're not.
Watch the film, Paul.
Okay, I'll watch the film.
Don't listen to him. Yeah. This is the guy who's get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to hear 20 songs.
Well, we're getting
actually.
Yeah.
If I could interject, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Speaking of films and things, watching that Resident Evil showcase thing, they've actually made like an animated movie that's going to be released on Netflix fairly soon of Resident Evil, which looks fairly
cool. Don't go back in the schedule. You can't do that. I know
No,
you're new
sorry.
in
All
this.
right,
Yeah.
I'll go forwards then.
That's not the good
That
to
was
do.
worth it, though.
Did anybody else see the trailer for the Nicolas Cage film of what looked suspiciously like Five Nights at Freddy's?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so bad. It's going to be classic Nicolas Cage. You know, it's
okay.
going to be right up
definitely
there with Con Air, I think. I'm going to call it now. It's going to be at least as good as Con Air.
Good.
It just looks amazing. He's going to be a night watchman in like a Chuck E. Cheese kind of place with animatronic figures. And it's just going to be amazing. I can't wait.
What's it called again?
I have literally no idea. It's called that Nicolas Cage film that looks like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Good. I wish it was called that. Right, gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up. Paul, if we need to find you, to talk to you, to ask you more questions, where would we find you?
Nowhere. I'm too old to play on all these social media sites. I used to be on Twitter, but I got banned in May, and I've got no idea why, and they've still not reinstated me. So,
okay.
I don't do anything. So just find
if
me
they
on the
wanted
Xbox
to
Hub.
find you on the Xbox Hub, can't we? So you could.
Yeah, you can find me on the Xbox Hub. I'm always there.
Good. James, where can we find you?
Can I just go back to Nicolas Cage?
No, you can't. I've got to go.
It's called Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland. There you go.
Yeah.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at OKUKO and Twitch at OKUK. No, I don't know where it is. I'm on Twitch somewhere. Ask around.
Kind of professionalism
Just look
we
on
like.
Twitch for Kid. It'll be there.
Look through.
Ask for Gareth.
Yeah, ask
He'll
for
point
me.
you in the right direction.
I will. And you can find me on GB Briley at Twitter and Twitch. But for now, Paul, thank you very much. James, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.